Okay, Jeremy here, Jeeps Unlimited, and I have to get used to the new name, partsbreakers.com. That's our new URL. If you go to jeepsunlimited.net, you can still find us that way. I'll just redirect you. We've been Jeeps Unlimited for the past 37 years, so but we did have to change name, and is what it is. But we're happy. The new name's pretty cool, so lots of cool things happening out here in our Grand Junction yard. But anyway, I'm doing a ton of frame stuff. We got a good stock going. I like to do these all in one set, and we got some deliveries coming up to the Midwest, East Coast, so definitely take a look at everything we got going on. You'll save some money with some shipping, some freight, stuff like that, some deals, some packages that we got going on and whatnot. So I like to video the exact frame that you'll receive, as well as photos, so you aren't going to be surprised by anything. The videos help, so you don't have to be here in person. These kind of do that for you. So there's a couple blemishes on this frame, but there's no rust on it, and they will be discounted. Are basically a grade A frame, at least at right now, and prices have obviously increased on everything else. I'm sure these will go up too, because cost of Jeeps are going up. But until that happens, our base price on a Wrangler frame, grade A, for a YJ 87 to 95, you're looking about $1,800. So this frame will be down from there. This frame probably going to be priced the $1,400 range, and really it's a really clean frame for that price, and whatnot. So there's obviously some delivery in there as well. So this is a 4-cylinder frame. You can use it on a 6-cylinder, or even an LS or whatever you're doing. But the difference is these motor mounts here on a 6-cylinder pushed up, so you'd have to remove those and bring those up if you want to use them on a 6-cylinder. And if you're putting on a V8, then I recommend 4 cylinders, because you're going to be lopping those off anyway, and it'll save you some money. And we usually have a better stock on these. So anyway, without further ado, we'll just go down it. So we've looked at the boroscoped on the inside of this frame, make sure it was clean, and it is. It's beautiful on the inside. The blemishes aren't rust related. It's just a couple things and it's not bent. It's a straight frame. We try to buy unwrecked YJs and TJs. We really try to stay out of the salvage industry, and we spend a lot more on them for that, but we're able to warranty and able to sell every single thing on them. So anyway, okay, so here's your first area. Not too bad, but starting to get a little eaten out there. Bushing traps moisture, so that's what causes that. Everything else you see, unless I point it out, anything like this is just oxidation of the metal. Paint's worn off. This is a bracket they put on here. It had a body lift. So these are what they brought up the front grill with. I'd probably lop those off unless you're planning on doing a body lift. Grinder will take them right off. Again, this area here, nice and smooth through here. Got a couple little cracks going right here, and the tubing itself isn't bent there, but it could have been at one time. So when we got the Jeep, it was straight, everything was good, drove good. But having a little bit of wear here, especially with a little bit of cracks there, and it's got a little bit of a divot here, definitely could have had a frame straightener on that at one time. So I want you to be aware of it. Again, everything's spec'd out okay, so whoever did it did a good job, but it is there nonetheless. And the rest of it, good shape, nice rails here. This is driver's side. This is common. I wouldn't be too worried about this. It's not all the way through, but when it just traps dirt up in here, they start scaling in here. So you can clean this up a bit. What people usually do is drill some holes so that mud and water can kind of come out, or even cut a slit in here. They box that area. You can see it over there if that focuses. They box that area completely in, which is kind of a bad design. As you can imagine, things from the wheels get thrown up here and just traps there. So not even in a salty area you're going to see that. This is another reason I think it's had a straightening on it, because this frame hook, which is typically if you're tying it down to a tow vehicle or something, they'll hook here. These are factory holes here, but typically when they're on a frame straightener, you're going to see this hole enlarge or stretch, because this is where they're hooking to the ground from and pulling on it. So it is, again, when we bought it, it was not wrecked, and we didn't even know this, and that's the problem. There's a lot of times with Jeeps, you're going to get into something like this unless somebody clearly points this out to you. you very well might get something like this. And it's one thing if you know about it, in my opinion, but it's a whole nother ball game if you don't know about it. So the rear hitch comes with it, and that's because it's welded on. You can lop that off. I think they did this for added support, and this is where I think this frame was probably hit, is in the rear of this guy, because it's crumpled right here. Who knows how it was hit or what, but they clearly, somebody did a decent job. This is all hidden up underneath the Jeep, and that again, I bet that I would put money on the reason they put this hitch on here is to help support this, to give this a little bit more substructure. You can replace this rear reinforcement piece. They sell these new. Otherwise, if they're back ordered, we can get a piece like that off of a good frame that might have a bad front end or some modification. We try not to sell them when they're modified. To be quite honest with you, this frame, if it wasn't as clean as it is, I wouldn't be selling it. We'd be chopping it up. But because it is such a clean frame as far as rust goes, and you know, the price I said earlier is not necessarily definite. When I review the photos in our stock on 4-cylinder 87 to 95 frames, it will review that. So definitely check it out on the website if you're watching this video first, and we'll go from there. That will give, that price ultimately will be the price it gets sold for, and whatnot. So let me flip it over. They're pretty light, weigh a couple 100 pounds, a lot lighter than you think, and go from there. And one thing people always ask us is, why aren't they painted? I don't paint frames for a reason, and the reason is I don't want to doctor them. I want you to see exactly what the Jeep was like prior to prior to paint. So I see a lot of shops online taking parts and rusty parts and painting over them, making them look good, and unfortunately if you paint on rust without treating it or anything, you're not doing much. So that's my reasoning for that. If you want us to throw a coat of paint on it, it's no problem. I'll be happy to do that. These are areas that love to rust out in them. Nice clean holes there. Again, a little oxidized on the metal, but not hardly any material. Maybe the center one. Most of that material seen there comes from the belly pan itself. And this guy, yeah, that one's broke loose. So you'll have to put, usually when they break loose like this, we leave that in so you can see what bolt size. Nutsert them, that's the easiest way, or you can weld a place on. I've seen people cut into them, but I don't think it's necessary. And then going up to the front and everything like that. So if it was for the bottom, you couldn't even tell that they straightened this thing, because it's absolutely beautiful on the bottom side of it. It's just that top side and a couple tall tails. Again, one with those areas, crumple areas on the front there, that toe, that hook area back there, and then that area that's crumpled up over on that side. So questions, comments, concerns, you let us know. We'd be happy to answer any questions we can for you. 303-666-9020. Partsbreakers.com. You can view this frame and others like it on there, and definitely take a look at everything else we have to offer, because there's a whole bunch of frames going up. And the frame, again, the most important thing is what you see in these videos and what you see in these photos is what you will receive. It's nothing different. For some parts we do bulk listings on, and it's just an update quantity, but when it comes to body parts, frames, tubs, doors, tops, fenders, grills, tailgates, all that stuff, what we list is what you'll receive. All right, so again, thank you for watching this video, and good luck.